The Academy of Ascendancy drifted in silence above the cerulean gas giant Keros, a ringed colossus whose storms had swallowed fleets whole. The station itself was older than most civilizations currently represented within its halls. Layer upon layer of pale alloy curved outward like the petals of a frozen flower, etched with symbols that recorded victories, doctrines, and the quiet certainty of superiority. To be admitted here was to be declared exceptional. Every species in the Galactic Compact knew the truth. The Academy did not merely teach warfare, it defined it. Those who graduated would become admirals, marshals, tacticians whose names would decide the fate of systems before the first shot was fired. And today, the Academy welcomed a new cohort. They arrived in stately lines, escorted by honor drones and ceremonial guards. The Virexian prodigies glided forward on anti-grav harnesses, their translucent crests pulsing with bioluminescent patterns that signified inherited tactical memory. The Koth marched in precise, thunderous unison, armored even in peacetime, their species bred across millennia for discipline and obedience. The slender Talori bowed to no one, their reputation for predictive warfare already legendary. Then there was the human. Cadet Elias Mercer stood at the far end of the assembly platform, hands clasped behind his back, boots planted firmly on the polished floor. No exoskeleton, no neural halo, no ceremonial weapon grafted to his spine. Just a uniform, plain, functional, and eyes that observed quietly. The murmurs began almost immediately. Is that the human? They sent only one? No augmentations? Primitive species. Why are they even here? The Academy had accepted humans only recently. Barely a century into faster-than-light travel, humanity had expanded quickly, but clumsily, according to the Compact. Their ships lacked elegance, their doctrines lacked refinement, their biology lacked efficiency. They were resilient, yes, persistent, loud. But greatness? That was still debated. High strategist Axalthorin observed the human from the elevated dais, four eyes narrowing behind ceremonial plating. Axalthorin had overseen 3 galactic wars and authored half the Academy's core doctrines. He felt curious and faintly amused. "Let us begin," he announced, voice echoing across the chamber. "The trials of ascendancy will determine who among you is worthy of command." His gaze lingered on the human. "And who is not." The first trials were theoretical. Simulated conflicts projected in 3-dimensional space, fleets clashing amid shifting gravity wells and collapsing stars. Cadets were assessed on speed, efficiency, and doctrinal adherence. The alien elites excelled. The Virexians predicted enemy movements before they occurred. The Talori neutralized threats through elegant, minimal engagements. The Koth overwhelmed opponents with disciplined force. When it was the humans' turn, the chamber grew quiet with anticipation and skepticism. "Cadet Mercer, you may proceed." The scenario unfolded. A besieged colony world, enemy forces entrenched in orbit and on the surface, limited resources, civilians at risk. Mercer studied the projection in silence. Then he asked a question. "How long has the enemy occupied the planet?" Zalthorin tilted his head. "That information is irrelevant." "It's relevant," Mercer replied calmly. "To them." A ripple of irritation passed through the observers. Nevertheless, the data was provided. Mercer nodded, fingers moving across the console, not issuing attack commands, but altering parameters. Supply lines rerouted, communication arrays repositioned, time slowed. He didn't engage the enemy. He waited. Hours into the simulation, the enemy fleet began to fracture, not from attack,
but from internal collapse. Logistics failed, morale degraded, command cohesion broke down. Then Mercer advanced, swiftly, decisively, ending the conflict with minimal loss of life. The chamber was silent. Unorthodox, one instructor muttered. Inefficient, another said. Luck, concluded a third. Axalthoran's mandibles clicked thoughtfully. Interesting, he said, but theory is cheap. Let us see how the human performs in the field. The arena was vast, a controlled environment capable of simulating any battlefield condition. Gravity fluctuated, terrain shifted, weather obeyed no predictable pattern. Cadets were grouped for competitive exercises. Mercer found himself alone. No one had chosen him. The alien cadets formed alliances quickly, species clustering with their own, confident in shared doctrine and biological advantage. They eyed the human with thinly veiled disdain. "Stay out of our way," a Talori cadet warned. "You'll only complicate things." Mercer nodded. Understood. The exercise began. Chaos erupted. The alliances moved according to textbook strategies, flanking maneuvers, overlapping fields of fire, predictive strikes. They were brilliant and rigid. Mercer moved differently. He observed, adapted, used terrain in ways the others hadn't considered. When gravity spiked unexpectedly, he adjusted his posture, redistributed weight, turned instability into momentum. He communicated, not through the Academy's encrypted tactical net, but through open channels. "You're about to be outflanked," he warned a Koth squad. They ignored him. Moments later, they were pinned. Mercer diverted power from his own position, triggering a localized terrain collapse that created an escape route for the Koth, at cost to himself. The instructors frowned. "He's sacrificing advantage," one said. "He's building trust," Zalthoran replied quietly. As the exercise progressed, alien cadets, one by one, began to listen to the human, not because of authority, because he was right. By the third day, the alliances had fractured. The alien cadets argued, blamed one another, clung to doctrine even as conditions changed. Mercer never gave orders. He offered options. "Gravity surge in 30 seconds, Mercer said calmly over the open channel. "If you anchor here, you'll hold. If not, you'll scatter." They anchored. When supply caches ran low, Mercer rerouted energy flows, sharing his own reserves without hesitation. "Why help us?" a Virexian asked. "Because if you fail," Mercer said, breathing hard, "we all fail." Slowly, something shifted. Cadets began to coordinate through him, not because the Academy told them to, but because his presence made the chaos understandable, manageable. He didn't dominate the field, he commanded it. From the observation deck, the instructors watched in stunned silence as the human cadet orchestrated a coalition that shouldn't have worked, across species, doctrines, and egos. "He has no rank," one instructor whispered. Axalthoran nodded, "and yet they follow." On the final day, the Academy unveiled the last trial, the impossible scenario. No cadet had ever fully succeeded. The simulation dropped all participants into a collapsing battlefield, multiple hostile forces, environmental failure, limited communication, and one final twist. The system removed all command hierarchies, no ranks, no chains of command. Panic rippled through the cadets, except Mercer. He spoke once. "Everyone listen. We don't have time for pride. If you hear a better idea, use it. If someone falls, cover them. We survive together." The field descended into controlled madness. Mercer moved constantly, sometimes fighting, sometimes coordinating, sometimes simply standing in the open, drawing fire to give others time. He was injured, exhausted, but he never stopped. At the climax of the simulation, when collapse was inevitable, Mercer made the final call. "Evacuate the civilians first. I'll hold." "That's suicide," Zalthorin whispered, but Mercer didn't hear him. The human cadet held the line alone, using terrain, timing, and sheer refusal to yield until the evacuation completed. Then the simulation ended. Silence filled the arena. The cadet stood stunned, breathing heavily, staring at the human who had changed everything they thought they knew. Axalthorin descended from the dais. He approached Mercer, studying him with all four eyes. "You defied doctrine," Mercer nodded. "Doctrine didn't fit the situation. You risked yourself for others. They needed time. You commanded without authority." Mercer met his gaze. "They chose to listen." Axalthorin straightened. "For centuries," he said, voice carrying